Wednesday morning, but it didn't affect us in the afternoon. Okay, so today we are going to look at trinomials where the leading coefficient is something other than a positive 1. So far, every trinomial I've given you has been like x squared, blah, 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 blah. Well, if it's 2x squared, negative 3x squared, 5x squared, what happens then? Okay, so we've already worked with a GCF, and what I need you to write down is now that we are getting into more than one way of factoring, I need you to always factor out the GCF first if there is one. Okay? If you look at your trinomial and you say, there's a GCF, I need you to factor it out and then look at the rest.
Well, I just want to at least have a question about this. How would you do it the right way? Because this is the actual reason I got kind of a little frustrated. Because of the factoring.
Okay, so I haven't talked about any problems yet. Okay, so there's going to be a couple different things we need to look for. So we're going to kind of talk through like one at a time what we need to look for. Okay. So on the next page, 231. Okay. If we look at these problems, do you notice how all of the problems on this page, there is a coefficient in front of the squared variable? Yes. Okay. So what I want you to write up here is number 1, we need to look for, is there a GCF? Okay. After you look for a GCF, then you need to look at the trinomial and see if you can factor it. Remember, trinomial means 3 terms. Okay, and we spent the past 2 days getting really good at factoring trinomials with a leading coefficient of 1. Okay, so I'm going to zoom here to number 1. Okay, I always want you to think, is there a GCF? What is our GCF? 2. So I am going to factor out our GCF of 2. What do we have left over? When we divide out the 2, left over we're going to have c squared minus 7c minus 18. Okay, so now we can keep going. We now know how to factor this guy right here. So I'm going to leave my 2. Whoops. I'm going to leave my 2. He's still there. But now I'm going to break this up into 2 factors. Okay. We know that c times c is c squared, right? I need 2 numbers that multiply to negative 18 and add to negative 7. Joey, what do you think?
Well, the first one would have to be a positive 9. So plus 9. And then a negative, and then minus 7.
So I don't agree.
Minus 2.
Okay, so Joey, what is 9 plus negative 2?
It is,
Is it a positive 7 instead?
it's
Oh.
negative. So it should be minus 9 plus 2.
Yep, so we need to make it minus 9 plus 2, and now we're good to go. Okay. Okay, so we factor out a GCF. We keep the GCF, but then factor the trinomial. So could you please try number 2 and 3 for me? And I'm going to send in the attendance. Okay. Let's go ahead. Talk about number 2. What's the GCF here? Okay. Jace, what do you get when you take out 4? A squared.
Plus 2a minus 35.
Okay. And if we think about two numbers that multiply to negative 35 and add to positive 2, what do we got?
Positive 7, negative 5.
Like that? Jace?
Yeah, that's what I got to.
Okay. Excellent. Emily, in number 3, what GCF did you factor out? So 3, 6, and 24 are all divisible by? Yeah. Oh, good job. So we have x squared minus 2x minus 8. Okay. Vivi, what multiplies to negative 8 and adds to negative 2?
Positive 4 and negative 2.
So positive 4 and negative 2 make a negative 2?
Oh, wait. Negative 4 and positive 2.
I like that better. Sometimes we just gotta double check ourselves. Okay, now we could do these all day. Okay, these are not the ones I'm worried about. Okay, but you have to look for the GCF first, otherwise you're creating more work for yourself. Okay, because sometimes there's not a GCF. Okay, look at number 8. Is there a GCF? No. Okay, so I like these problems because it's a big puzzle. Okay, I hope that you're using a pencil because you're gonna probably need to erase while doing these problems. Sometimes you're not going to figure it out the first try, okay? What we know is that this is going to FOIL to get back to 6k squared minus 11k plus 4. So what we know is that this first product needs to be 6k squared. Hold on, Joey, okay? The first product has to be 6k squared. And our last product has to be 4. We know that. Okay? We also know that our inside plus our outside needs to be negative 11k. Okay? Now, we can't do the simple adds to negative 11 multiplies to 4 because we now have coefficients with k that we're going to use. Okay? We have to think about how it would FOIL out to make sure we have the right answer. Okay? So, let's start with 6k squared. We have a couple different options, right? We have 2k times 3k. We have 6k times 1k. I am always going to suggest that you start out with the numbers that are the closest together. So let's start out with 2k times 3k. Does that multiply to 6k squared? Okay. Now we need to think, okay, I need two numbers that multiply to positive 4. But we do know what kind of numbers they need to be, right? They both need to be negative because of this minus 11k, okay? So I think it's the most obvious that 2 times 2 equals 4, right? Okay, you're using a pencil, correct? If I put 2 and 2, what is my inside product?
It would be negative 6k.
Negative 6k, and our outside product would be negative 4k. Do those add to negative 11k?
No.
Okay, so that's not going to work. So we're going to try again. We've tried 2 times 2. Now let's try 1 times 4. And let me remind you that 1 here and 4 here is different than 1 here and 4 here. So we would have to switch them if it doesn't work. What do you want to try here first? Okay, so 1 here and 4 here?
Yes.
Okay, so our inside product would be negative 3k. Our outside product would be negative 8k, and by golly, that works. Okay? Now, do you need to be showing all of this right here? No. But this is the thought process that your head needs to be using. Okay? This right here is our answer. Okay. It is a puzzle where we're trying pieces, and if it doesn't work, we try a different piece. Okay? That's all we're doing. Let's look at number 9. I like number 9 because everything's positive, and I just think that's going to be nice. Okay? So in number 9, lots of 9s in number 9. Okay. We know that our first product needs to be 9w squared. Our last product needs to be a positive 2. And then our inside plus outside needs to add up to be 9w. Okay. So what do you think you want to try to get 9w squared? I think 3w and 3w is a good place to start. Now, what kind of numbers are we going to have to multiply to a positive 2? Both positive, both negative, one of each.
Both positive.
Both positive. And the only way to get 2 is 2 times 1. 2 times 3w is 6w. 3w times 1 is 3w. Does that work?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, first try. We're good. Okay, let me think about which one I want to do of these. Okay, we're going to start with number 10. Okay, there are 3 different choices we have for 12a squared. What is my advice to you? Where should you start? Closest together. So if I have 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4, which one should we try first? Okay, let's try 3 times 4 first. Okay. Now, if we have a negative 2, then we know that 1 needs to be positive and 1 needs to be negative. Right? Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I am going to put 1 needs to be positive and 1 needs to be negative. Okay? Now, what do we know about multiplying to 2? We need 1 times 2, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any thoughts on where you want to put the 1 and the 2? Oh, you think it's backwards, so we should do this? Okay, well, let's try this. This gives me negative 8a, and this gives me 3a. No, but,
It's like reverse.
it's just opposite, right? So let me give you some advice. If you get the opposite number for your O plus I, like we need a positive 5, but we got a negative 5. This means we have the numbers in the right place, but what do we need to change?
The 2 and the 1.
We have the numbers in the right place.
Negative
Three.
Oops. This becomes, oh, what did I have? Positive, negative. So now this is a -3 and a +8, and now we're good for our 5a. Okay? So I don't want you to get frustrated and like erase and try again. If you have the right number for the O plus I, but it's opposite, you just need to change your signs. Okay? All right, I'm going to let you try number 11. See what you got. Will you get it the first try? Maybe, maybe not. Use your eraser to help you out. It may help you to make a list to keep track of. 15 could be 1 times 15 or 3 times 5. 8 could be 1 times 8 and 2 times 4. And if one doesn't work, we can try another. Okay? My suggestion would be to start with 3b times 5b and exhaust all of these options. Try 2 times 4, try 4 times 2, then move on to 1 times 8, 8 times 1. Before, if none of those work, then you can change to the 1 and 15 to try. Okay? What should I put with my 3b? Plus 4? Which means I need a -2 over here. So that we get 20b and -6b, and then those would add to 14b. Okay? Again, you're gonna need to be patient. Try 2 numbers. If they don't, erase the constants. Like if I tried 2 and 4 here and they don't work, switch them and try it. If that doesn't work, all right, cross 2 and 4 off the list, move to 1 and 8. Okay. I wish there was a pen. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's look at, we're going to look at number 14. Okay. Okay. I don't like number 14 or number 13 or number 15 or number 16 or 17 or 18. What is true about every single one of those problems?
They all have a negative.
Okay. Their leading coefficient is negative, and that creates a big problem for us. Okay. So do you remember that my suggestion was to always look for a GCF first? It is not going to be very convenient to try to factor this with a negative leading coefficient. So I'm going to say, you know what? Let's just say we have a GCF of -1, so that now we have 6x squared minus x minus 15. Now this is going to go so much better for us. Is that you?
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, is my phone talking to me? Okay, so let's process through this together. What do you want to try first for our 6x squared? Let's try 2x and 3x. Okay. We know that one needs to be positive and one needs to be negative if we have this negative 15. So I know that 15 is 1 times 15 or 3 times 5. Right? Okay. So let's try 3 times 5. 3 times 5. Okay. Our inside products would give us 9x, and our outside, gosh darn it, would give us negative 10x. Did we just get it on the first try?
Yes.
That is not what I was hoping for, but it happened. I was trying to be authentic here, and then, well, oh well, we did it. Yay, go us. Okay, but make sure you have that negative 1 out there. Okay, it stays with. Okay, now, the only way you're gonna get good at this, or the only way you're gonna feel comfortable with these, is to practice. Okay, and the good news is